We know the feeling, don't we? You've been sitting there doing what you've been doing for a bit too long. Your body is practically calling out to you. Move me. Take me outside. Let me breathe. You absolutely know that taking a break, walking outside, doing something, a bit of movement would reset your entire system. That stepping away from your phone and into nature would shift things. So why don't you? Here's what I've learned after years of working with people at aroha and from my own journey and watching myself in these situations countless times. It's not about laziness. It's not about lack of time. And it's definitely not about a lack of motivation. It's something far more subtle, far more sneaky. I call them the 3 saboteurs, 3 invisible forces working against your well-being, perhaps right now as you listen. These saboteurs are the reason that smart and capable people, just like you and me, stay stuck on the couch while their bodies crave movement. They're why we choose scrolling over sunrise walks, notifications over nature, convenience over, actually feeling alive and living our lives. But here's the thing, and this is why I'm so excited to share this with you. Once you can see them, once you begin to call them what they are, once you begin to notice them and hold them to the light, you can then defeat them. Now, before we dive into these saboteurs, I want to share something that's been on my mind lately. We live in this incredible age of innovation, AI-powered habit tracking, biohacks, brain optimization tools. And while I'm genuinely fascinated by how technology can support our well-being, because I know it sometimes supports mine, I keep coming back to something much older, much simpler. Nature, movement, real food, breath. At aroha, we see these as foundations, not the fancy add-ons. Because here's what I've been witnessing time and time again. The moment someone places their body in nature, walking, breathing, just being, something shifts. You can feel it. The nervous system begins to reset in ways no app can replicate. And it's not just poetic, wishful thinking. There's a fascinating 2020 study that found spending just 120 minutes per week in nature consistently improves health and well-being. That's less than 20 minutes a day. It's not a luxury retreat for a week. It's not an expensive cold plunge subscription. Just time with trees, sky, space, and not much else. So if you take just one thing from our time together today, let it be this. Real wellness begins with stepping out. Even 5 minutes, even barefoot in your backyard. And here's where it gets interesting. There are these invisible forces keeping us from taking these simple steps. Let me introduce you to your 3 saboteurs. Number 1, the dopamine trap. This one's sneaky because it feels so normal, so justified, so everyday. Your brain choosing the couch over the trail, the phone over the yoga mat, the snooze button over the sunrise walk. Modern life has literally rewired your reward system. We're craving instant digital hits over the delayed satisfaction of movement and nature. We think that social media is staying connected. Think about it. Your environment conspires against wellness every single day. Notifications pulling you back indoors, processed foods more convenient than whole ones, streaming services that feel more immediately rewarding than sweating on your mat. That's for sure. The trap, and this is a cruel irony, is that your brain treats scrolling as more urgent than self-care. I'll just say that again. Your brain can treat scrolling as more urgent than self-care. It makes the very activities that would make you feel genuinely good seem like punishment instead of pleasure. But here's how you outsmart it. I call it the phone funeral. And yes, it sounds ridiculous, but stay with me. Every time you know you need to get outside for a nature walk, hold a 10-second funeral for your phone. Actually, take a second, say goodbye to it, acknowledge that you'll miss those notifications, all that entertainment, all the little dopamine hits, and then place it somewhere you can't see it or hear it. This ritual will help your brain to accept that digital stimulation is just for now dead. And here's the magic. Within minutes, you'll notice you're in nature, your reward system starts noticing things it usually ignores. Bird sounds, cloud patterns, other people, the satisfaction of your own heartbeat. The moment opens up to you. This digital death resets your stimulation threshold so that natural movement and outdoor time become genuinely more interesting than your screen. Next, the inner saboteur. This one hits close to home for a lot of us. It's that voice that whispers things like, "You're not athletic. You always quit after a week anyways. The fast food tastes better than the salad." This internal saboteur is particularly cruel because it uses your own voice, your own past experiences to convince you that you're not the one to do it, too busy to maintain consistency, or that wellness is for other people, not someone like you. The saboteur thrives on all or nothing thinking and past evidence of your wellness failures. Here's how you defeat this one, and it's completely counterintuitive. Instead of trying to overcome your fitness fears, I want you to embrace them completely. I call it the sweaty disaster technique. Write out your absolute worst nature experience in vivid detail. I'll be in the cold, in the rain, too windy, fired from my job because I left my phone at home. It won't make any difference. I'll feel worse afterwards. I'll catch a cold. I'll be drenched in sweat and look ridiculous. Then ask yourself, if this embarrassing thing happened, how would I handle it? And what would I learn? Most people discover that even their most mortifying scenarios are just human. When you pre-live your sweaty, breathless worst case, it becomes ordinary. When you pre-live your sweaty, breathless worst case, it becomes ordinary instead of terrifying. The fear of prioritizing wellness loses its grip when you realize that nothing beats feeling vibrant and well. Okay, this last one I quite like. It's called the mirage effect. And what I notice in myself is that I seem to have a part of me that is always looking for the next thing. It's looking to learn something more, to find a new practice, to kind of optimize my workouts or my movement or my meditations or whatever it is. And it is precisely that mirage of following someone else's dream or feeling as though we don't have enough already or don't have what it takes to get started or aren't able to be our own best teacher that, like a mirage, kind of disappears as we get closer because we're following someone else's goals. So the radical solution is to take a moment and drop any particular set goals that you have at the moment. And I want you just to begin to focus on anti-wellness. And here's what it sounds like. Instead of chasing what you want, identify what you absolutely don't want in your body and in your life. The reason this works is that our brains are wired a little bit like Teflon for the positive and like Velcro for the negative. In other words, when you focus on the terrible that comes from being unhealthy, it helps you to be more motivated, more easily inspired to do what's good. So if you don't want to feel sluggish and stressed or disconnected or whatever it might be for you, then specify the daily practices that will pull you out of those states. Begin to really notice what pulls you in, what makes you feel the worst, and focus on those practices and the terrible practices, if you want, that pull you out of those states. This reverse engineering reveals your authentic wellness needs without the pressure to attain targets. You'll find yourself naturally craving walks in nature because you're escaping something real, mental fog, physical stiffness. And when you feel those things, you'll create a clearer connection to do the things you know support you. Okay, friends, at Aroha, we get to spend our days and we design every moment to help people return to this truth. We hold you in these practices to make it a little bit easier for you. We move with purpose, we eat with intention, and create space for deep rest. But none of it is revolutionary, and none of it requires tech. It's simply remembering what our bodies already know. It's tuning in and listening to what your body is telling you in this moment and learning to be wise and skillful in how you support your well-being. So, yes, we'll continue to explore the science. We'll keep integrating what works, but more often than not, the answers are already under our feet.